Alright, what's up boys? In this video, I want to show you guys what we are doing for all of our clients to help them at 20k per month. Currently, our best result is doing it in just under 30 days, 29 days to be exact, which is awesome. And I want to show you guys how you can use these same insights and hopefully implement them into your business to get some similar results. And honestly, if you're somewhere around 10k per month, this protocol, because this is a whole entire protocol, that's what I like to call it, because this isn't a funnel, it's not a tactic. This is a whole entire step-by-step, pretty much blueprint to scaling all the way up to like 100k per month. This is going to be pretty much all you need. I'm going to be going through how to position your offer correctly because I really believe that that is the key that so many people overlook, and that is why so many people don't see results with all the funnels that they're doing. I want to walk you guys through how to choose the right acquisition system for you, to make sure it crushes, and then I'm going to be showing you guys how you can add structure and start collecting data and leveraging data to add structure to your business, systemize, and ultimately build something really, really solid. And just to give you guys some backstory, we basically launched this whole offer of ours around 2 months ago, so around mid-October. We haven't done any crazy client acquisition for it so far. What we've just been focused on is spreading it to some of the people that we knew, from being some of our short form clients and just overall people that we knew in the space. So refining the product, I spent the whole entirety of last week just rebuilding the product and building frameworks and stuff that we're gonna go through today, to really show you guys why this works and really explain it the right way too. But basically, Antonio, this is a client who added 20k in monthly recurring revenue, I think on the dot, or like 20k and $500 within the first 29 days of launching this funnel. So here's him closing a 6.5k deal for his offer, which is awesome. He also got 2 DM closes. We're also pivoting to DM closing now because at one point we had a pretty packed calendar. But what we started seeing is that there are some unqualified calls. Obviously, that's just going to happen no matter what sort of system you run. And we've pivoted a little bit to DM closing, also because we had 2 closers running, which was pretty unsustainable, right? And a lot of management went into that. But we went to DM closing. It's going pretty dang well. Still playing around with it. Almost got 2 more sales. This was like 2 days ago. He sent me this message, which is awesome. But basically, that's what we're doing right now. And what's cool is that the onboarding calendar, which you can see here, this onboarding calendar is almost more packed than the sales calls calendar, which is really, really awesome. That means that what we're doing is obviously working, and I'm excited to see where we can take this. What we have here is we also have Colton, who we launched a funnel for him, which was the follower funnel, and we, for just like $7 spent, we already had a call lined up, which was really awesome. But what we did is we split tested with DM ads, which I'm going to show you guys. But basically, the DM ads were outperforming the follower ads, so we decided to double down on those. Right now, we're getting like $1.80 cost per a conversation. On my Blue Up like a video of my business partner who goes more in depth into this. But basically, that's what we're at with Colton right now. 129k pipeline value for Antonio after 30 days of running the ads. It's at 169k, which is awesome. Getting some crazy call numbers, obviously. 10 calls booked in a single day and 15 in the space of 2 days, which came down to be pretty standard, like at our peak of really hammering calls. Right now, as I said, we're more focused on trying DM closing and just getting more of those onboarding calls rather than the sales calls. And then here's just some more DM closes, which is absolutely awesome. And Antonio getting a shit ton of people coming in, which is perfect. And then also Jeff here, who in like 1 week, 2 clients so far that week, and then a lot of new sales calls, which is also awesome. And I'll keep you guys posted on how these results keep developing over time. But now into the actual system that is generating these results, I like to call it the P.A.D protocol. P.A.D is just an abbreviation for the 3 steps that this protocol consists of. But basically, I like to call it protocol because this isn't just a tactic or a funnel that I want to present to you guys. I want to show you, how to get from point A, which is wherever you're at right now, like 10k per month, all the way up to 100. I want to show you guys all the steps. I'm not just going to go over acquisition. I want to go over the right positioning, which I think is absolutely key. And I see this with all my clients. The ones who have the right positioning crush it, and the ones who don't have it don't. So I want to show you how we dial that in for all of our clients, to line them up for success. I'm going to be showing you guys plugging in an acquisition system based on your points of leverage. So making sure that we don't just, pick a tactic that we think is going to work for every client. We're actually going to look at your points of leverage and then figure out which acquisition channel is best for you based on that. And then we're going to go over adding structure and then leveraging data as the third sort of step to, as the title suggests, add structure to your business. And then leverage data, because if you look at Amazon, if you look at Google, why are they so powerful? They have a shit ton of data. Okay, and that's the third step of these protocol. So starting off with phase one, You've probably heard the saying, find the right boat and then row as hard as you can. But what I actually think is infinitely more important is choosing the right ocean. Okay? Because if you're here, then it's going to be really difficult for you to do anything. Whereas if you position yourself in a way so you're in this beautiful ocean over here, then it's going to be way easier for you to, live in that ocean or scale in that ocean, right? And then here also, blue ocean versus red ocean. If you're in this ocean with so many different competitors, and you're just like them, right? Like you're unhappy, obviously, because you're fighting over the same clients, you're competing on price. There's nothing that differentiates you, and the market leader, wherever he is, he's probably over here. He has the blue ocean. He's sweeping everything up, okay, and you're just fighting over nothing, pretty much, okay, with all these other people who are, exactly the same as you. So we want to be in this blue ocean, okay, and that's what the basic premise of this first step is. All right, so which ocean do you think is going to make it easier for you to scale? It's obviously going to be the blue one. All right, and the longer I'm in business, the more I realize that the people in the red oceans make absolutely no money, and the people in the blue oceans sweep everything up. All right, because if you're selling the exact same stuff as somebody else, you're not positioned differently at all. You're saying the same stuff as everybody else. You're positioning your offer in the same way as everybody else, then your prospect will always buy from the person who's doing something different. So when our client comes on board with us, before we launch any ads or any sort of marketing whatsoever, what we do is we fix this issue and we put them in a blue ocean right here. Okay, because if we just launch the client acquisition straight away, we would just be wasting money. Okay, and we obviously don't want to do that. Right, so that is why the first thing that we do is we make sure that they are in a blue ocean. And the way that we do that, okay, is by figuring out your unique points of leverage that you have and then building your offer, positioning your offer, and choosing your niche based on those points of leverage. Okay, so here are basically the points of leverage. So what we do is you want to look at your current revenue, your expertise, your story, what sort of case studies you have, if you have any, the relevant content assets that you have, and by relevant I mean relating to what you're selling. Relevant that if a potential prospect watches them, does that sales asset convert them? If it doesn't, then it's not relevant. If it does, then it is, okay? And if you have an audience, okay, and then based on that, right, based on like your story, your case studies, your expertise, that is where you choose your niche from. From your niche is going to stem your offer. Once you have your niche and you know who you're selling to, you can actually choose what offer to present them, okay? You never want to create an offer and then choose who to go after, okay? You always want to choose a market, find their pain points, and then build an offer around that market. And then after we know who we're selling to, what your offer is, then also from these points of leverage, we can decipher which acquisition model is going to make the most sense, okay? So for example, I'm going to basically show you guys an example of two of our clients, okay? So Antonio, what he started doing at the start was he was running ads broadly targeting coaches, all sort of coaches, and he had an offer which was pretty much a copy and paste offer from another person in the space. Okay, I'm not going to mention the name, and he wasn't making any sort of return. No wonder. Okay, he was reselling the same stuff as everybody else, saying the same stuff as everybody else. Why don't these people just go to the market leader? Okay, like if you're underneath that person, then the people are just going to go to him. You have to position yourself as the opposite. Okay, as something completely different, or just find a different market to sell to, which is what we did for Antonio. So what we did is we came in and we saw that, just a bit of background. He's doing a business coaching offer for credit repair companies trying to scale. And we saw that he ran a credit repair company in the past. Okay, and he had expertise and experience in that field. So what we did is we niched down into literally just credit repair companies. Okay, so we built out an offer that nobody else in the market had and could copy, and we sold it to a group of people in a market who had never heard a similar claim before. Which guess what it did? It put him right in the blue ocean. There's absolutely nothing, no one doing what he was doing, and that is the effect that we want to get. Okay. And then basically here's just some more of his results that I showed you guys earlier. 169K pipeline, 6.5K deals closed. Doing a lot through DMs right now, which is awesome. And here's a little framework, right? Okay, so basically he was selling copy paste offer, making copy paste content, selling to a copy paste niche. We figured out what his leverage was. He had a case study, which was himself, and he had expertise in a field which aligned with his case studies. And then he had an audience, and from there, we deciphered his niche, which was what to offer that niche based on their specific pain points and how to position it based on what the market wants. And then we chose the acquisition model based off of that as well. Okay. And he had a 20K MRR in first new offer in 28 days, 29 days. Anyways, it was like, less than 30 by like a day or two. Or Colton, who was basically messing around with organic. He was trying to get clients that way. But, you know how organic can be. It can work, but it can also be slow as hell. What we did is we saw that he had case studies and he had social proof of his product working. what was happening is that once again he was blending in with the crowd. He had no messaging whatsoever. He had no real niche and he had no plan. So we figured out his points of leverage, built his niche offer, and then an acquisition system around that. Okay, so as I said, no messaging, no plan, no niche. But we saw that he had case studies in one specific niche, which was helping skinny guys get jacked. And he had a story that would resonate with that market because he himself was a skinny guy in the past. Okay, so we ended up niching down on that group of people and positioning him really uniquely to everybody else in the marketplace, and make sure that we were selling to a market that he resonates with and he had case studies in. We dialed in his offer positioning to resonate with that specific market that we chose, and then we chose the right acquisition system based on his leverage, which in his case, it was also paid advertising. Okay, because once he had case studies, once he had proof of his stuff working, and once he had, dialed in positioning, there's no reason for us not to run paid advertising. And then here's some of these results. Here, this is my business partner video around the results that we're getting for Colton. I'll try to link a card up here, or I'll link it up in the description so you can go ahead and watch that after this video if you're looking for a more in-depth video on Colton specifically. But basically, after you do this and you figure out, your niche, your offer, your acquisition model, which I'm going to get into the acquisition model now. What we have to do before that is we have to figure out how to actually communicate the value that we're able to provide so that we don't blend in with the crowd. Okay, so we have to create content basically. That's how we do that. And a lot of people have all these different complex content strategies. They're even using it as one of their selling points that they have, an incredible freaking content cadence, whatever that is. Okay, but what I found is that all good strategies stem from one thing, and that is going to be human psychology. Okay, if your strategy doesn't stem from human psychology, like if anything in marketing doesn't stem from human psychology, I can guarantee you that it doesn't work. Okay, and something that gives us all of what we need from human psychology to market with is Charlie Munger's 25 cognitive biases. Okay, if you don't know who Charlie Munger is, he passed away like 2 or 3 weeks ago, rest in peace. He was Warren Buffett's business partner and the vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway. And basically, what he talked about a lot was the 25 cognitive biases that we as humans have. Okay, and we can leverage that to our advantage and use that in our marketing. So basically, just some of these biases were things like the reciprocation bias, social influence bias, liking, loving tendency, confirmation, and then we got to stimulate the neocortex. Okay, and out of each one of these biases, stems something that we can implement in our content. Okay, so from the reciprocation bias, like that the existence of that bias means that we should be giving a lot of value. Okay, reciprocation is when you give something to someone, they want to give back to you. Social influence bias, we're influenced by what people do, so we got to show hella social proof in our videos, in our reels, in our long form YouTube videos. And then liking, loving tendency, we buy from the people that we like, so we got to share personal stories. Confirmation bias, we can use this when we're breaking beliefs. Here's our belief shifting framework. But basically, people like hearing stuff that they already agree with. Okay, so we can leverage this to our advantage by not just saying what you thought was wrong, this is right. We can acknowledge that they believe something, which is basically here, using the confirmation bias, and basically say you believe this for this reason, and that's completely fine. And then we break that belief, okay? And then while rebuilding, we're also giving value, which is the reciprocity bias, and we're positioning ourselves as the authority, which is the authority bias, and then we're also giving social proof. Okay, so this is our sort of belief shifting framework. You can copy it if you like. I have other videos going more in depth into this, but this basically comes in when you're trying to break beliefs, which should really be the foundation of your marketing. Okay, because if you align the prospect's beliefs that they need to have in order to buy your product with the ones that they have now, then you're gonna have a really easy sale. And then the last part that I have here right now is stimulating the neocortex, which is basically the part of the brain that gets stimulated when we hear something new. Okay, and that's also why we want to position ourselves in a blue ocean and in a new opportunity rather than being in the red ocean with all these other people. Okay, because then the people listen because they hear something new, and their beliefs change and their actions ultimately change, and they end up buying from you. All right, so we got to be using different words to everybody else. We got to be positioning ourselves differently to everybody else in the market. Well, basically, when you implement all of these inside your content, inside your marketing, what you get is the Lollapalooza effect. And what the Lollapalooza effect is basically when all of these sort of different cognitive biases combine with each other. What Charlie Munger says is that all these effects sort of compound on each other, creating the Lollapalooza effect, and that is going to make us way more likely to actually shift the belief, to build that trust, to build that connection, and ultimately that's what we're looking for. Okay, that's what we are using all this in the first place. So in terms of the actual content strategy itself, basically we're going to be making both short form content and ideally long form content on relevant platforms. And by relevant, I'm saying that if you're running ads on Instagram, you want to be posting Instagram Reels. If you're going to be running ads on X or Twitter, you want to be posting Twitter posts, threads, Reels on Twitter, right? And then long form content, because that is the way that you're actually going to build that trust with your audience, more than you could ever do with short form or anything else that isn't long form content, okay? So yeah, long form content is going to be where the real value is going to be, and when you're really going to separate yourself from the market. So like what I believe is that a lot of people who aren't on YouTube, they're going to get gapped out from the market very, very soon, especially in the business to business space. Okay, because like if you have a built out YouTube channel, that is probably your biggest sales asset that you could ever have. Okay, but the bare minimum that we have for our clients is just one long form content piece going over your client results, your unique process to getting results, which will serve as your main VSL, which is your video sales letter, because people don't buy off of 30-second clips anymore. So this is going to be a piece of content that we have, pinned in your bio. We redirect all your DMs to, and we just have there to build more trust before the call. Anybody books a call, we send this to them, to make sure that before they get pitched, before they hop on the call, they know your process, they're warmed up to it, and that makes them way more likely to buy because they trust you, they like you, and they know you. And that is the goal with this video sales letter. Okay, plus like if you're just making 30-second clips, it's getting harder and harder to sell a high ticket product off of purely 30-second clips. Okay, because everybody's making 30-second clips, and it's getting harder and harder to separate the real players from the wannabes. Okay, and that is basically phase one. Okay, so you got to create your blue ocean. This is going to be the foundation of everything that I'm going to go over so far. And chances are right now, if you're running an acquisition system that is working for other people at your level, and it's not working, then it's because you don't have this dialed in and you've never thought about this concept that I call the points of leverage. Okay, but basically phase two, we're now getting into the acquisition system. Okay, and the reason that we do this in phase two is not only because it wouldn't work if we skipped the first phase, but also because now we're going to use the data that we gathered from phase one, which are basically points of leverage once again, to choose your acquisition system and to determine what we're going to leverage in phase two. Okay, and this is the problem with people selling you a marketing funnel or a simple tactic. Okay, because they completely don't take this shit into account, and that kind of bothers me. Okay, because the truth is that a lot of marketing strategies are going to work for you, depending on your current revenue, where you're currently at, your expertise, your story, your case studies. Okay, like if you have no case studies and you're trying to run ads, good luck. Okay, if you have a lot of case studies and a lot of relevant content assets, and you're doing $1 million a month and you're doing cold outbound, that doesn't make sense. You can definitely do something more scalable. And that's why figuring out your points of leverage is super, super important. Okay. As I said, like a lot of things are going to work if you have the right foundation. So the problem arises when you see all these people shoving different tactics down your throat while forgetting the principles that make these things work in the first place. Okay. A tactic is nothing more than a tactic. Okay. Oh, and I want you to remember that. A tactic is nothing more than a tactic. And if you don't have the principles in place and you think that a shiny new tactic is going to save your business, then you are wrong. And then what happens is that only 20% of the people actually get results from these programs because they are the ones who already had these aspects covered and whose points of leverage were already aligned to the tactic that the guru or the coach or the agency or whatever is selling you. Yeah, like so they already had the offer, the blue ocean, the positioning dialed in, but their success still gets attributed to the secret shiny object, which is the tactic. And then what happens is you have all these agencies just copy and pasting the same mechanism into all their clients' businesses, and they wonder why it doesn't work. Okay, you can't just copy paste a funnel into a client's business and expect expect that client to get results. Okay, some will, but a lot won't. Okay, you actually have to put some attention and effort into fulfilling your prospect. That's why when I see all these ads like how to fulfill in 30 minutes, I laugh because I know that a lot of these people don't get any results whatsoever. Okay, because you have to figure out like what is the best path for this prospect, and then you actually have to deliver for that prospect. It's not as simple as just building out a course, or you actually have to put in some effort. But anyways, I'm getting off track. So what we do for all of our clients is we figure out where do you have leverage, if anywhere, right? And where are you strong and where are you not so strong? And then we figure out the acquisition strategy that you're going to use based on that, right? So like as I said, one of our clients running follow ads, the other one running DM ads. Okay, and I'm not gonna say like DM ads are so much more superior to follower ads, okay, because they're not. It all depends on where you are, where you're trying to go, what sort of niche you're in, and what your points of leverage are. Okay. And here's just a couple of examples. Okay. Like it wouldn't make sense for me to tell a beginner with no product, no case studies, or content assets to run ads because they don't have the leverage to run ads yet. All right. And the same way, it wouldn't make sense for me to tell someone with case studies on a well-positioned offer, making like, I don't know, 500K per month, let's say, to do cold outbound because they have the leverage to, like, slap a VSL funnel on there, and they're going to print money because of the leverage that they have built up. Okay, and that being said, most of the clients that come to work with us, it's going to be running ads. Okay, because at that point you should have a case study or two. You should know what your niche is going to be at least somewhat, and then what the process with most of our clients is we help them fully dial in that niche. Okay, because they've never thought about this concept before, fully dial in their offer, and then choose that acquisition model, which if you have case studies, more often than not, it's going to be some form of paid advertising. Um, and the reason for that is that once you're making decent income from your business, so you have the money to invest in ads, and you have the case studies to back up the fact that you know what you're talking about, there's no reason to keep dedicating so much attention to acquiring new clients. Okay, because what we want to do is we want to automate the process of getting clients as much as possible so that all of your focus is going towards getting your clients the best results, because that is going to be the biggest lever you can pull in the long run. Okay, because when you get clients, then you can get client results, and when you get client results, whoever has the best client results has the best product, and whoever has the best product ultimately in the game is going to win. Okay, and then that best product and those client results are going to help you get more clients, and it turns into a self-feeding feedback loop. Okay, and that is our goal, and this feedback loop compounds over time like crazy, and that's what we want to focus on. Okay, like something like cold outbound doesn't focus on that. Yeah, right. So when you're starting out, this is a framework for choosing your client acquisition channel. If you're here, hopefully you get some value from this. But basically, when you're starting out, your only real choice is going to be outbound or reaching out to people that you know. But then the point is, you got to get some client results from outbound, and as soon as you have client results and you have product market fit, meaning that people want what you're selling, then there's no reason for you to not to transition to something inbound related, whether that's paid ads, whether that's organic. But once again, I prefer paid ads because you can literally buy attention. You can choose how far you scale. You can't do that with organic. We want to be building an organic foundation and a brand while we're there. But I don't really like using that as your primary way of generating clients. Unless you're someone like Alex Hermosi. Okay, obviously you have a crazy brand, but we're not there yet. Okay, we don't have uh, you know millions of dollars to dedicate to a content team, right? You want to move to inbound, okay, because that requires less of your attention, so you can focus on getting killer results, and it's more scalable because you literally click a button and you control the traffic that you get, okay. But to give you guys an insight as to which acquisition models we are currently leveraging for our clients, right now it's like a 50-50 split between DM ads and follower ads. And right now we are testing a bunch of different stuff, like DM ads with a lead magnet, without a lead magnet, different ways to position the follower ad. So I'll keep you guys posted. But basically, the one you should choose depends on your points of leverage, what niche you are in, what you are selling, and what your current revenue is. And basically, every point here, I'm probably going to be adding more to this. I'm going to be trying to make this more digestible for you guys. But basically, this is literally the framework. Okay, if you're not focused on this, and you're just running ads positioned the same way as everybody else, then no wonder you're not getting results. Okay, basically the two funnels that we are running right now, one of them is the follower funnel. So you run IG ads to get followers. We then educate these followers with long form and short form content. We engage one-on-one through DMs, and then a sales call, which, as I said here, is optional because Antonio was crushing with DM closing right now. And then you can also launch some retargeting ads on top of that, just for anybody who like stops following you for whatever reason, or just isn't that engaged in your brand. You can launch some retargeting ads to your VSL or to a DM to the setter in the inbox, just to bring them back into this funnel. And then for IGDM ads, basically you're running ads straight to the DMs, whether it's for a free asset or it's not. That's something we're also testing. You send some content assets, through the conversation. You educate these people, and then ultimately you invite them onto a sales call, and then you close. Okay. I have videos going over these funnels more specifically. You can go and check them out on my channel. Gamil also has this video, which is my business partner, so you can check that out too. But if I try to give you guys like a full breakdown of every acquisition system that we're using right now, then this video would be like 4 hours long. As long as you're focusing on basic principles, you're in line with your points of leverage, you should be all good with choosing whatever acquisition channel you want to choose. Okay, it all depends on how you want to run your business as well. Like for example, I could spam cold outbound, but I don't want to manage a team of a bunch of VAs. I'd just rather run an ad, pay for the attention that way, and then have people coming to me. And now the final phase, is going to be phase 3. So that's adding structure and then leveraging data. So after you have your positioning dialed, you have clients and calls and everything coming in through your acquisition funnel, whichever one you chose based on your points of leverage. The next thing is actually adding structure and building a legitimate business around what you're doing. Okay. And this is the most important piece of the puzzle when it comes to getting to that next level. Okay, position yourself in alignment to your points of leverage, and finding a single acquisition channel is all you need to hit realistically 20, 30, or even 50K per month. However, in order to stay at those numbers and scale further, you need to add structure to what you're doing. Okay, and there are 3 reasons for this, which I want to break down. Okay, so for the first reason, I want to ask you a question. Why do you think companies like Amazon, like Google, or like Meta are so powerful, so rich, and so monopolistic in the way that they don't have any competition whatsoever? The answer is that they have insane amounts of data on every single human, well, almost every single human who walks the earth. Okay, and that gives them insane amounts of leverage. Okay, because they own the information and the data, and they own the attention of these people because they own the platform. Okay, and that means that they can market to the majority of people in the world whenever they want for completely free, and they can get clients and revenue into their business whenever they want for completely free because they own that attention. And this is something that also Russell Brunson talks in his books, talks about in his book, .com Secrets. Amazing book, by the way, if you haven't read it. Basically, your goal should be to turn all attention that you get, whether it's people visiting your profile, people coming in from your ad, it should be turning that attention into owned attention, okay? Because owned attention are the people that you can market to for absolutely free. Okay, you can market to these people for free whenever you want, how much you want. And these are people on your email list. These are people who you have their phone number to. Instagram followers are semi-owned because they're still on that platform. So I prefer to actually have that data, which also gives your business, like interior value, if you know what I'm saying. Because you actually like have that information and you're actually building something inside your business and there's something behind what you're doing. You're not just fully dependent on one platform like Instagram or like, I don't know, Twitter or X. But yeah, so to get to that next level, we need to start building an ecosystem around what you are doing to make sure that you never go out of business. Because if you don't have that data, you don't have anything behind what you're doing and your freaking Instagram page goes down, worst case scenario, your business is done. And we really don't want that. Okay, like that is the worst case scenario. So we want to focus on owning that attention, okay, and leveraging that data. So if you haven't built anything that you tangibly own off of platforms, you are extremely vulnerable and dependent on that platform, and realistically, you do not have a business. Okay, whoever owns the attention owns the revenue. Okay, and the only way that you can truly own the attention is by having the data, right? So whoever owns the attention, aka owns the data, they literally own the revenue, and that's what we want to do. We want to own the revenue. All right. Yeah, and this goes back to why Amazon, Google, and Meta are so freaking powerful, rich, and monopolistic. It's because they own the attention and they own your data, which means that they own the revenue. Okay. That's also the exact same reason why we spend money on Meta ads, is because they have that attention. Okay, and if they didn't own that attention, and if they didn't have the data on every human that walks the earth, then we wouldn't buy their ads because we buy the ads to buy that attention off of Meta. Okay, they are selling your data and they're selling your attention to the people who do ads. All right. Yeah, and Meta, like 97% of all their profits in 2022 was from paid advertising, by the way. If they didn't have that attention to get people to buy these ads from them, they would be out of business, right? Every great company is built on having insane amounts of data, right? And that's what we want to build for you. And then 2 is once you start getting leads and calls and clients through your acquisition system, things will start to get messy. Okay, the further you grow your business, the more complexity gets involved, and you will need a system and a place to store everything, to store all the data, store all of your, like prospects, and make sure that you're squeezing all the juice that you can out of what you already have. All right, because I hear people say like simple scales, fancy fails. True, I agree with that. All right, but after a certain point, at least some level of fancy is inevitable and unavoidable. Okay, and too many people sugarcoat it and completely ignore the fact that a business without structure isn't a business, and it's not sustainable or it's scalable. Okay, too many people hit like, I don't know, 50, 100K per month, and then they go back down and like, get half of that revenue the next month because they don't have this in place. Okay, if you don't have the structure, things are going to fall apart. Okay, and this is also us, like I like to call it fixing a leaky bucket. This is what we did for Antonio. So first we took him from 0 calls to we booked 4 calls in around 40 hours, getting around 2 to 3 calls per day. What we did is we plugged all the holes. We had the data from the CRM that we built out, and we took him to getting 10 calls any single day, right? Because we plugged all these holes and because we were squeezing the juice out of what we already had. And what's very important to know here is that we didn't touch the ad spend at all. Okay, 2 calls per day, same ad spend, 10 calls per day. And this was all thanks to plugging all the holes in the system, optimizing it, and building it around collecting data in the first place. Because now what we have is we have contacts to dial, we have emails to market to, and we have people in front of whom we can just show up whenever we like and sell and give value and indoctrinate and sell, right? And this is the only way you're actually going to add intrinsic value to a business, all right? And plus, this list is also going to grow over time, right? As I said, compounding effect once again. And then the third point is that if you don't have structure, you don't have data on what's working and what's not working. And when you have no idea what the bottleneck is, and when you have no idea what is putting revenue in your bank account, how can you ever expect to double down on that thing? Or how can you ever expect to solve that bottleneck in the first place, right? So, what are you going to base your marketing decisions off of? You're going to base them off of your assumptions, emotions, thoughts. Like the only way to scale something, meaning to add more inputs to get more outputs out of a system, is to make data driven decisions. And when you don't have that data, how can you make data driven decisions? All right. So what we want to do is we want to make decisions where we can pinpoint, okay, this is working, this isn't working, so let me do more of what's working, okay? Or for every $1 that enters the system, I take home 10. That means if I put in 100, I can take home 1,000. And I can keep scaling that way because I have that data, okay? And a good analogy I like to use to explain this is that when you take a look at all of the massive companies of the world, like literally, I don't know a single company that that has, quarterly goals. Every single great company has company projections. There's a reason for that, okay? Because we want to simplify scaling down to a science, okay? Like if you have goals, like cool, but the thing with a goal is that you may hit it, you may not. And when you're making data-driven decisions, you don't have goals, but you have projections because you can predict what you're going to hit and you know exactly what you need to do in order to hit that projection, okay? But it's not a goal anymore, okay? It's something real that you actually control the outcome of. That's what we want to make it. We want to make it so that you are in control. I don't know why you drew this arrow here. That you are in control of the revenue that you're going to make, and the only way you can do that is by having the data. All right. So what we do for all of our clients is after we start getting traffic through the acquisition system, is we build them out a CRM, which is Go High Level, that they can leverage for literally the foreseeable future. Okay. So as you can see, these are just more screenshots. These are all Go High Level, pipeline calls, right, from Go High Level. We manage all of our customer relationships there. We have all of our contacts there. We have our email list going out there. All of our marketing is happening through there, and it is a hub where we can store all the data, and we can let that compounding effect of the data, that's wrong, boom, take place, right? So yeah, that is basically the video. I'm not sure how cohesive or incohesive this was, but I wanted to make a video breaking down every single thing that we are currently doing and make it as valuable as possible, going over everything. Obviously, I could have gone into more detail. Like, this is probably going to be a separate video that I'm going to make. The points of leverage is going to be a separate video that I'm going to make. I already made one. Not sure if it's up yet, but I'm probably going to make one more. Go high level could be a separate video. Owning the attention could be a separate video. Like there's a lot of really valuable concepts here that I'm definitely going to expand on in the near future. But I wanted to make basically a video. You can just hop in and basically see exactly what it is that we're doing and my thought process behind, optimizing a business pretty much, then scaling that business and then making sure that scale is sustainable and making sure that we can get to that next level. Okay, cool. So basically, by now, you should know exactly how to position your offer using the cognitive biases, right, from Charlie Munger, rooted in human psychology. You should know how to determine where your points of leverage are, right? So what you really should be doing, how to position yourself in a blue market so that you're not competing anymore, but you're actually creating, and then how you can choose your acquisition channel based off of those points of leverage, and then how to start owning data and attention to make your business sustainable, more scalable, and to make data-driven decisions so you can actually reach that next level. And when I'm saying next level, I'm saying like without this, you can't get to 100K per month. That is just the truth. Step 3 here is key for No, scaling to the bigger numbers. So as you can see, this isn't just a tactic that I'm giving you. This is a whole entire protocol that you can leverage to your advantage. And these are literally the only 3 steps that you need to focus on to hit 100K per month. And to be honest, beyond 100K, you may want to start adding a second acquisition system or transitioning to a different one, right? Because you're at a different level inside your business. But anyhow, these are basically the 3 steps that you need, right? So if this video resonated with you and you got value, and you would like to see if we can implement something similar, completely done for you for your business, then you can DM me on Instagram saying the word like, I don't know, protocol, and we can have a more deeper conversation on this. If you have any questions, also you can DM me and let me know. I'm more than happy to answer anything. And yeah, this is gonna be it for this video. I really hope that you guys got value from this. And I will talk to you guys soon in the next video. Subscribe to this channel, and I'll talk to you guys soon.